Good evening, my lovely people, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Dose. On today's episode, we have a guest, Dr. Nhlanhla Vilakazi, an old time friend of mine who is now currently a family medicine registrar as well as an accredited IFBB bodybuilder. So he's going to be chatting to us about what it's like working on the front line and what it's like to stay fit and healthy during this time. Good evening, my lovely people, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Dose. In the studio, we have my good old friend, comrade, commander, my leader, who hails all the way from Soweto. I met him when I was studying at Wits. I stayed at Ernest Oppenheimer Hall of Residence for 6 years, and that's where I met this clownish friend of mine, Nhlanhla Vilakazi, who is now a doctor and a registrar in family medicine, as well as being a IFBB accredited bodybuilder now. Yeah. You got your pro card now. Is that correct? Or not? No, not yet. You're working towards that. Okay. So how are you doing, Nhlanhla? No, that's great. That's great. That's great. How's work? So tell me, how's work going now? You're working at Hillbrow Community Health Center. Tell us what it's like there on the front line. Yep. So in your opinion, do you think we're on top of things, or like how? Yeah. No, true. But like obviously you privy to a lot more information than the average because a lot of uh, family medicine is about public health, right? So I'm sure in your lectures and stuff, are they discussing what other hospitals and other clinics are doing? Yeah. No, it's actually better now. Yeah, that's better. So no, I was saying, being in family medicine, obviously you have a lot of discussions about public health. So from the top, what are they saying on about clinics and hospitals and plans going forward? Mm. Mm. So tell us what parameters are they using to make these predictions about like having a spike in the number of cases or those types of things. Do they have any specific parameters they're using to make these predictions, or they're just looking at other countries and saying they went badly, so we're gonna probably also go badly?
mobile clinic doing screening, rapid screening at the facility. So ever since they started that, which I think started this week on Monday, I mean, they've just ramped up the, I don't want to say security, but like alertness and just caution. And they've just, I mean, today they came in and the whole facility was disinfected. So we had something like 3 hours, maybe like an hour of no work where everyone was kicked out of the clinic, patients, doctors, everybody. And they were disinfecting the whole facility. Like I said, there was a directive that came straight from the department today that said no acute cases, basically no non-essential, emergency cases are going to be allowed to come in. So I mean, they actually are doing a lot. So I think they just, especially after this screening that's been going on, they expect the numbers to increase significantly.
So tell us now, on the ground, has the criteria changed in terms of testing? Are we testing asymptomatic patients or patients with mild symptoms now?
Okay, I know it's different for obviously like a patient and a healthcare worker, but basically at my clinic anyone can test. So we're still using obviously the PUI for testing, obviously for resource management reasons. So we're trying to obviously test people with symptoms. But for healthcare workers, literally, everyone was going there, everyone was screened and tested. And you don't have to have symptoms.
Oh, because at certain facilities they're not testing. They don't test at all. If you have symptoms, mild symptoms, or even in some cases moderate symptoms, go home, isolate for 14 days. That's what I've been told. But obviously, I'm working now in private casualties and things like that. So for us, it's a lot different. For a private casualty, they have this idea that if one person has COVID-19 and it spreads through the hospital, we have to shut the facility down, like we saw in St. Augustine's Hospital in Durban, where now 66 people have tested positive.
Yeah. I saw all of that. And yeah, everyone's just trying to practice caution.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, I think the worst is about to come. We're not out of the woods, even though people just feel like, but why are we so slow? It's because of the lockdown. It's because of the aggression. And I think with the government rolling out these tests, rapid tests, we're going to see a true picture, which is nothing compared to the graph circulating.
Because I've also been saying on the podcast that I think that a lot of the cases that we have just not been picked up, and that's why we're looking at such low numbers. I don't understand how in a country like ours, a third world country with densely populated areas, how are we seeing such low number of cases and deaths? My thinking, and maybe you know more, maybe patients are coming in with maybe pneumonias or things like that, and they're not even being tested or incorrectly diagnosed. You know how things happen at the clinics out there.
You know what I think? I think our screening criteria has to really be updated. Like, we need to change it ASAP. I mean, look, we're still looking at travel history. We're looking at contact. I mean, how many people are tested? If you ask someone, have you come in contact with someone with coronavirus? 90% of the people that you're going to meet are going to say no. And that's because they're not tested. It's not because there's no one with coronavirus. Nobody's tested. It's so difficult to get tested. It's so expensive to get tested.
Exactly.
So, I mean, those are the criteria we're using to screen people, which I think are wrong. And I think there's a lot of people walking around sick and infected. And
yeah. And also, the point on the number of immunocompromised people we have in our country, with the largest population of HIV positive people in the world live here in South Africa. And so, like, from the studies that I've read, with immunocompromised patients with COVID-19 or any of the similar SARS, MERS, those types of viruses, the studies have shown that they actually shed the virus for much longer. So even if they recover, they'll still be shedding the virus for like 3-4 weeks. So they're going to continue infecting people. And that's why, I don't know what you think, but I've been saying it for the whole week that this lockdown is not going to end on the 16th of April. What do you think?
Well, I mean, for the greater public, I think it should end.
It should.
It should. I mean, just looking at what's happening economically and how people are going to lose their jobs, and it's just, I think it should.
So just to stop you there, in your opinion is that the economic disadvantages from a lockdown outweigh the positives of continuing the lockdown from a healthcare sector?
Not necessarily. So this is where I stand. So I say, looking at the data that we have, so the number of patients or number of cases that we have at the moment, right, and the measures that we've taken, right, I think we have that leeway to say, can we have a lighter version of a lockdown? So a lighter version, some of the, like for example, like what they've actually been starting to do, so allowing vendors to operate, allowing certain, function who are providing essential service, or even if it's not so essential service, but like, people who, like vendors, I mean.
These vendors.
So, but I mean, like things like malls and things where you can't avoid, you can't socially distance if you open a mall. You can't, you understand, things like those.
So if I understand you clearly, what you're saying is we must allow the vendors first, then the Zulus, then like Xhosas, then the okay, I'm just joking, but
it's a discussion we need to have.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, sort of what kind of laws can we allow to, so what kind of people can be allowed to operate around this lockdown, but not to completely wipe out everything and say, okay, guys, we're done now, our lockdown is over, let's
But do you also not agree that people already are misbehaving? People already are out in the streets disobeying the lockdown. So for us to lift it more, do you not think that people are going to take this as, this thing is not that bad, this thing is light, we can... Because I don't think that the man on the ground in the street, I don't think he thinks of releasing a lockdown as we're helping you economically. I think he thinks of it as, nah, this thing's not that bad. Come on.
In all honesty, like, yes. The thing is, I mean, if you're going to use townships, places like LX and, Soweto, to judge how people are behaving, I think it's very biased.
Yeah.
I mean, most of those places are overcrowded.
But also, I mean, if you look at even suburbs and stuff, people are jogging, taking their dogs for walks, carrying on like life is normal.
Come on, not that many people are doing that. So, like, in all honesty, a lot of people are doing their best.
Yeah.
I know where I stay, people are not allowed visitors. You're not even allowed to walk outside.
True.
Outside the complex.
True, yeah.
Inside the complex, but I mean outside your flat. You're not allowed to walk. So, I mean, people are really trying their best, I think. And yeah, I think it's just a very challenging, situation. Because ours is a bit more unique because the rates are not that high at the moment. And yeah, that's why people are feeling like, well, I mean, why are we panicking? Why do we have to extend the lockdown? Like, instead, haven't we slowed down the increase of the rates?
But like if you look at certain countries have released certain restrictions, like the initial restrictions they've released, the more harsher ones, like only essential services being out. Then they started opening up restaurants and stuff, and in only in certain countries did it work. In other places where they started releasing the lockdowns, people went crazy. They were like, we haven't seen the sun. Let's go out, let's party, let's socially lubricate ourselves.
I think for government, that's their biggest fear. The fact that, once we open up, people are just now
Gonna go crazy.
Compensate remote.
Yeah.
And basically do things that they never even used to do. Like, kiss people they never kissed.
Get promiscuous, yeah.
Especially considering the season that we're approaching. I mean, we all know it's a high season for upper respiratory tract infection. Of course, it's June in this country, a seasonal problem. I mean, with the addition of now COVID-19, it's you know, I mean, it's alarm bells.
Yeah, it's going to be. Also, another question, or rather the last question before we move on to the health side of things. Tell me, what has the ban of alcohol and cigarettes done for our casualties, in your opinion, from your experience?
You know, I've always said this, right?
But we've always known this.
Yeah, we've all known this. But now just to see it, like to reflect, you don't understand. Like, literally, I feel like doctors in casualties, especially in public, doctors in trauma units, casualties, CACs are treating alcohol-induced traumatic injuries. Like, I mean, that's all we see, drug-induced, alcohol-induced, like proper patients, heart attack patients, you know, complicated patients who actually, I believe, really need healthcare. You know, I really like a 0.1% of the patients we see.
Yeah.
99% of the patients you see are stabs, you know, bottle injuries.
Stabbed with the bottle.
Yes.
How many times have you seen a patient? How many times have you seen a patient that is stabbed with the bottle? Not even a knife, just with the bottle.
It's actually rare to hear a patient say, no, they stabbed me with a knife. Like, I automatically just think, so it was a bottle. Like, that's how common it is. I mean, they drink, you get drunk, it's empty, you hit someone.
I mean, I even had a case when I worked at Hillbrow. I had a case. The Metro Police brought a guy in who was faking a stroke. He was so drunk that he actually hit into another Metro Police officer car at the roadblock.
What?
Yeah. And then he was faking like he has a stroke, like he couldn't talk, he couldn't move, nothing. Then I was like, hey, wake up. Wasn't waking up. Twisted his nipple, suddenly he's alive. But yeah, no, everyone's been telling me the same thing.
Something needs to happen. I'm for baby toilet, you know. I mean, there needs to be some kind of education programs. There needs to be some kind of restriction, you know, alcohol being sold at like weird hours. I mean, some kind of restrictions need to happen.
What about cigarettes? What's your view on the cigarette ban? Why do you think they did it? Is it helping?
You know, with the cigarette one, I don't really know why they would have done it.
You know, the speculations.
It's a serious addiction as well.
You see, the speculation is that they did it because obviously smoking affects your respiratory system. The virus affects your respiratory system. So that's one theory that they have about that. I don't know. But also maybe because they want to limit the sale of tobacco products so that people will prioritize using their money wisely during this time. Because they might have to say, hey, I can't buy cigarettes. I need to buy bread though. Let me go and buy bread.
Exactly. And I mean, you know, cigarettes and alcohol. You know, a lot of people will tell you the only time they smoke is when they drink. So, I mean, also just the association, you think maybe that was their reasoning for just blocking everything. And yeah, I mean, in terms of even maintaining social distance and having people, you know, locked in their homes, you don't want them driving around looking for cigarettes and yeah. And I mean, if you're gonna ban one drug, why not ban all of them?
True. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to make our country a little bit healthier. So moving on to health,
And people are actually gonna quit smoking and alcohol after this.
because I mean, hopefully 21 days is all it takes. So now moving on. Yeah, so
Move from 1 cigarette a day to like 20 a day.
once the lockdown's over, they're gonna start chain smoking again. But anyway, let's move on to health quickly before we close. So obviously you do bodybuilding. You've been training since you came out the womb. You were doing push-ups in the delivery room. From the time I've from the time I've known you, you've always been a fan of the gym and hitting the weights. How are you coping? Do you have dumbbells? Do you have weights at home? How are you training or exercising at home now?
So I've always sort of invested in. So there's essential stuff that I believe every gym fanatic or any person who's just conscious about their health should have. And it wasn't really because I thought maybe one day we'd be in a situation like this, but just some days you're just too tired, or life happens. Just have stuff at home. So basically, I have dumbbells that I'm invested in. I don't know if you know what TRX cables are.
Are those like those elastic, those bands?
No. So it's not elastic bands. So you basically.
It's not those tension bands. It's the.
Yeah, so they're not elastic, but they're just longer bands. And you can hang them by the door. You can do so many things. You can work abs. You can work back. So you basically just sort of hinge them onto something. Make sure obviously that door is stable, and then you can do.
Because otherwise you don't want to get on your.
You don't want that when you're casualty. And then pull-up bar, very important. Get yourself a wheel for your abs.
Yeah.
And obviously diet over everything.
Diet is 80%. You've always told me this, but like, how are you maintaining your diet during this time? Are you stockpiling your groceries? Are you managing to get all your tuna, sweet potatoes, chicken breasts?
No, so I'm fortunate because my wife has always been at the forefront of like making my food and everything, and now that we're always together, I don't have to worry too much about my diet because she knows what we need to eat.
So you've been maintaining completely your diet, everything during this lockdown.
I'm so used to it now. Like every time someone gives me something and there's too much salt, I can tell. If there's too much spice, I can tell. Because I'm used to boiling majority of my stuff. I'm used to like maintaining a certain diet. I'm used to obviously weighing my food and even weighing myself. But obviously I'm not that strict on myself. Obviously I came through the years of just repetition and stuff. So I understand how to gain, how to lose weight, and
So what's your plan during this lockdown? Are you trying to gain weight, lose weight, stay fit? Just
so during this lockdown.
Yeah, what's your goal? Tell us about what's your goal.
I want to keep lean and weigh less. I think that's the best. So I'm keeping lean, meaning I'm decreasing my carbs. I'm still taking a lot of carbs, but not as much as I normally do when I train.
And I guess that's good advice. I guess that's good advice for a lot of people, because a lot of people, although you may be working out at home, even for that 45 minutes, an hour, or whatever you want to do in the day, you're still not very active. For a lot of people that are staying at home, you're not walking around as you would if you went to work or doing grocery shopping or doing a whole lot of other things. You're basically sedentary the whole day, and then you working out once a day or so.
So I guess that's what I said. Diet is literally everything. I know a lot of people stocked up even on supplements and stuff. Having your whey protein is very important. Depending on the intensities of your workouts, have a pre-workout as well. Especially when you're at home, because it can become so difficult. When you've been resting the whole day and now you think, let me go lift some weights. It can be tough, but with the pre-workout,
come on, man. You don't give the people more excuses. You work a full-time job as a doctor on the front line fighting the good battle, and you still have time to come home. You come home, you eat your chicken and sweet potatoes, and you lift those weights and you pull those cables.
So it's been very difficult. It's been very, very difficult in these tough times. But I try every now and then. I really do. And at least in a week, I'll train maybe 3 times. So every alternate day, I'll train.
And so tell us, because I was speaking to a comedian on the podcast yesterday. Tell us, how has this affected bodybuilding competitions and things for this year? Are you planning to compete? Do you think it's even likely that it will happen? Any competitions?
Okay, so I do men's physique, right? Which it's bodybuilding. It's a type of bodybuilding, but obviously a lighter version. I just want to correct that when you say bodybuilder. Everyone just spends the whole day in the message. So with muscular physique, obviously you can have a life and still train and maintain your body. And what was your question again? Sorry.
No. I was asking about whether the competitions. Do you think that there's a potential this year, or is this year lost for you as a bodybuilder?
So, well, according to what I know, because I am affiliated to obviously a lot of the organizations here in the country. I mean, majority of them have cancelled all the events. I'm not sure if it's for the year. I think they're all just waiting to see how long this lockdown will go. But I think a lot of obviously big events, and the one big event in the country is Annual Classic Africa, which is cancelled or postponed. They are postponed, I think. But yeah, I think everyone's just hopeful. Everyone's hopeful that this will come to an end and life will resume as normal.
Well, I think we can all hope for that. And my last question to you is, being on the front line, I get asked this question a lot, but you are closer to that front line than I am, I would say. Because you're right in the thick of it. So tell me, are you scared? Generally, for yourself, for your country, for your family, are you scared?
Okay. So for myself, not that much. For my family, a lot. For my country, even more. And the reason why my country is even more is because obviously I feel like they don't have the knowledge that we have. They don't see what we see. So they don't have that privilege of making informed decisions, if I may put it like that. And I think people are just all nearsighted, thinking about tomorrow, thinking about I need to get back to work, I need but they're not thinking of the consequences and the medical bills. They'll start accumulating once a proper outbreak, and thousands and thousands of people need to be admitted because of this pandemic. So yeah, personally, I mean, I am worried a bit, but yeah, I'm more worried about obviously people around me and everyone else.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Nhlanhla Vilakazi, just explaining us what's going on the front line. A registered family medicine physician, as well as an IFBB accredited. Well, not yet, but it's coming. It's coming. We're hopeful. 2021. Definitely. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace, love. Take care. You can catch this episode and more on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music. So tune in. We're going to be taking some questions now. Peace, love. Assalamu alaikum.